I'm here to explain my opinion on traditional martial arts versus modern martial arts such as MMA, Muay Thai, boxing, and so forth, so forth. Okay. A lot of people will say traditional martial arts don't work, so forth, so forth. There's a lot of reasons why they do not work at this point. Traditional martial arts, the problem with traditional martial arts is they have not evolved. They're stuck in, as far as I'm concerned, what they call traditional, they're stuck in time. And they're stuck in the time zone where it was relevant, and right now they have not progressed. Martial arts, in my opinion, is about progressing and evolving to better yourself as a martial artist, as a self-defense, to protect yourself and other people around you. So when you're studying traditional martial arts and you don't try to adapt to certain scenarios or situations or the modern movement or other martial arts that we have encountered now, because through the internet now we can access other martial arts. We know what's popular these days, like in the street fight, people throw roundhouse, right hooks, this and that. And there's a very popular rise in like round kicks, and very powerful round kicks, double leg takedowns, jabs, right cross. To think that you're traditional martial arts and you do not adapt yourself to come across or adapt yourself to these scenarios, then you are not adapting and evolving your art. Your art is made, you should be able to use your art to defend yourself or counter these attacks, and you should try. If there is not a technique that you have in your arsenal, then you should use your art, use the concept of your art, and try to nullify these counter attacks. One thing is sometimes you can use your art, traditional arts, to defend a certain technique through theory, but you have to test your theory. You have to against a grappler, or if you don't want to, just do it with a friendly foe, a friendly sparring. Do it, check if he agrees, but he has to be putting pressure on. Maybe first you do it lightly, then push the pressure even more to see if you can work, and then doesn't matter if you fail. It's a learning curve, constantly evolving. You go to the drawing board, start analyzing again, see what you need in your arsenal, or if you have to even learn what the other guy has to say, or what views he has, or just to learn the basics of other arts, just so you can learn how to defend against it. It's very important. It's just like general warfare back in the day. Say there was like some, say, a new technology of archers, so you have to find out how these archers learn their skill, or what's so special about them, or just to fight, just to defend yourself against them. Take what they know, use it against them. This is what I believe as a martial artist you must do, is to constantly evolve and keep up with the standards of today's self-defense. Another thing about a lot of traditional martial arts is they do not spend enough time in sparring scenarios, so sparring in light, or even doing light sparring. If you constantly do techniques on a willing participant, you get this false delusion that your technique is just going to work, but this guy is not really throwing it fully, not throwing it hard, and he's just throwing in one sort of through your center line, or just doing the same old drill over and over. He has to give you a variation, or give you try to be unwilling, try to make it a little bit difficult, and slowly progress to full hard sparring. Once you get to that, and then you can some of the traditional martial arts don't believe in full hard sparring. I can understand, because they're promoting longevity, And hard sparring is it's required if you are in a competition, or if you're going to warfare, or just once in a while, just so you know, to get yourself in that right ability, so you know you don't get too comfortable with your technique. If you're doing it softly all the time, or this touch sparring, you lose what is reality, and you don't want to do that. You always want to know what a real foe would throw a full hard punch feels like, or the timing of it, and the way it moves, everything. And you need to coordinate it with your vision and your technique, so forth. Because yeah, there's just lots and lots of things that gets involved in a real life scenario. Like in a real life scenario, obviously it's not just one-on-one. There could be more than one person. There could be weapons, or you're fighting uneven in the snow, or uneven terrain, or up the stairs, or in the alleyway, anywhere basically. So you need to prepare yourself for all these scenarios, be it traditional or even Muay Thai, MMA, boxing. All of this need to get. But in terms of Muay Thai, MMA, and boxing, they're obviously geared towards competition. So you could say they don't require to learn all of these other terrains. If you're going to do competition, then you don't need to learn weapons and this and that, because because you could use that time for other useful things, so you can win your competition. Because this is, if you're competing, that is like your bread and butter, so you need to put that at first priority. But learning a few techniques for real self-defense, like multiple opponents, or weapons, or knife defense, this and that, it can be fun, it can be useful. But yeah, just adapt to the situation. This is what I'm saying. And obviously traditional martial arts is not all bad, because traditional martial arts, is that they hold well, assuming that they haven't changed anything, they are the original of the martial arts. So they will have all the techniques from beginning to end, and you have to change it. So you have all the techniques from beginning to end, and there is no if it's kept it from beginning to end, then it hasn't made any changes. So you have all the techniques that you could use, or that were people thought was not useful and taken out. You can use again. Say for example, I teach a whole form. I think that this technique, say for example, I do not prefer to use the concept, the pull-up, but one of my students likes the pull-up. If I would develop the form and I took out the pull-up because I thought it was not useful, then my student will not be able to use that technique. Just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it doesn't work for him or someone else down the line. And just because in the form I did not, or in any technique I didn't realize that you could have been done in a certain way, doesn't mean that someone else maybe 20, 30, 50 years down the line couldn't have figured it out. So forms can be useful too. Forms and all the traditional stuff can be useful. It depends what you like, I think. But whatever it is, I think that everyone should respect each other's styles, and everyone should try to improve and try to evolve and get better as a martial artist. Thank you. I hope that helped. Over and out.